Silence built empires. Talking about them destroyed them. One merchant in ancient Basra learned this the hard way. So you don't have to. There is a young man called Tariq. Tariq was 23 years old. He worked in his uncle's spice shop in the great port city of Basra, a city where the waters of two rivers met, where ships came from Persia, from India, from East Africa. Every day, Tariq watched the merchants, the real merchants, the ones who owned the ships, the ones who didn't just sell spices, they imported them, direct, no middleman, pure profit. And one night, sitting under the stars on the roof of his uncle's house, Tariq made a decision. He would save every dirham for 2 years. He would study the trade routes. He would become an importer. He would own his own stall, then his own ship. It was a quiet, burning, private dream. For 3 months, he told no one. And in those 3 months, he saved more money than he had in the entire previous year. He woke before dawn. He haggled harder. He ate less. He worked more. The dream was alive, and it was growing. Then came the night of Eid al-Fitr, a celebration. Tariq's friends gathered, old friends from the neighborhood, men he grew up with, men who respected. The food was generous, the mood was warm, and someone asked, the way people always do at these gatherings, "So, Tariq, what are your plans? What is next for you?" And Tariq, full of food, full of warmth, full of pride, opened his mouth. He told them everything: the plan, the savings, the routes, the dream of owning a ship. He painted the picture so beautifully that his friends stopped eating. "By Allah," said his friend Mansour, "you will be the greatest merchant in Basra." "I can already see your ship on the river," said another. Tariq smiled the biggest smile of his life. He walked home that night feeling like he had already won. The next morning, Tariq did not wake before dawn. He told himself he was tired, just this once. The morning after that, he woke up late again. He sat in the shop, but something was different. The fire was smaller. He still believed in the dream, he told himself. He just didn't feel the same urgency. A week passed, then a month. His savings barely grew. He started spending a little more, a new robe here, a better meal there. He was going to be a great merchant anyway, so why live like a poor man now? He didn't realize what had happened. His mind had already given him the prize. The applause of his friends had become a substitute for the actual achievement. 6 months later, Tariq had saved almost nothing new. The dream was fading like old ink on paper. One afternoon, he sat near the stall of an old cloth merchant, a man named Sheikh Fadl, old, quiet, wealthy, a man who had arrived in Basra 50 years ago with nothing but a small bag of goods on his back. Tariq, feeling low, told him the story, the dream, the gathering, the announcement, and now, this emptiness. The old sheikh listened. Then he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "When I was young, I also made this mistake. I told my father's friends that I would be a great merchant. They praised me, and I slept well that night, too well. I woke up the next morning feeling like a merchant already, without owning a single coin of real trade." "So what did you do?" Tariq asked. "I learned 2 things," said the sheikh. "The first, never announce a goal that belongs to your identity. Keep it silent. Let your actions speak when the work is done. The second, if you must tell someone who frightens you a little, someone whose respect you do not yet have, someone who will hold you to account." Tariq went home and thought hard about what Sheikh Fadl had said. He did not announce anything new to his friends, but he went to the most respected merchant in the whole souk, a serious man named Abu Nasr, and he made a specific promise. Not "I will become great," but a precise, measurable promise. "Every day, before the second prayer, I will add 3 dirhams to my savings box. If I arrive at your stall on any morning and I have not done this, you have the right to shame me publicly." Abu Nasr looked at him, half amused, half impressed, and agreed. Then Tariq wrote something just for himself. A simple rule. If I return home before the evening prayer, then I will immediately count my savings and record every dirham earned that day before I eat, before I rest, before anything else. This small rule removed all the daily debate from his mind. He did not have to decide each evening whether he felt like doing it. The decision was already made. For the next year, Tariq lived like a scholar in isolation. He told his friends he was busy, and he was. He stopped going to every gathering. He stopped letting people distract him with gossip from the souk. He studied the trade routes deeply, which spices came from where, which seasons brought which ships, which middlemen were honest. He was not unfriendly, he was focused, and something unexpected happened. Alone, without the applause of friends, without the warmth of their praise, the dream became more real, not less. His mind never forgot it was unfinished. The hunger stayed sharp. 2 years and 4 months after that Eid gathering, Tariq ibn Khalid received his first shipment, cinnamon and black pepper from across the sea. Bought directly, no middleman. He did not throw a party, he did not gather his friends to announce it. He simply opened his new stall at the souk the next morning, set out his goods, and waited. By midday, the old Sheikh Fadl, walked past and stopped. He looked at the stall, he looked at Tariq, and he gave one small nod. That nod meant more to Tariq than 100 Eid gatherings, because this time the feeling was real. He had not been given the prize by someone's words. He had earned it in silence, in discipline, in the dark mornings before anyone else was watching. Your dreams are seeds. Seeds grow in the dark, in quiet soil, not under a spotlight. Announce your dream too early, and your brain celebrates too soon. The fuel burns before the journey begins. But set a specific plan. Find one person whose respect you have to earn, and let your silence do the talking. The world will see your ship when it arrives on the river. You don't need to describe it while it's still only in your mind.
Hi guys.
The River and the Three Coins. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between two mountains, there lived an old woman named Mira. Mira had worked all her life, tending her garden, weaving cloth, and selling bread at the morning market. By the time her hair had turned the color of winter clouds, she had saved 3 golden coins. Not 300, not 3,000, just 3. Her neighbors often whispered about her. Poor Mira, they said, a lifetime of work and only 3 coins to show for it. But Mira would only smile. One evening, as the sun sank low and painted the river orange, Mira called her granddaughter Lena to sit beside her on the old wooden dock. "Lena," she said, dipping her fingers into the water, "do you know why this river is so alive?" Lena shook her head. "Because it moves," said Mira. "Water that sits still in a hole becomes poison. Water that runs becomes power. Money," she added softly, "is exactly the same." She reached into the pocket of her apron and pulled out her 3 coins, laying them one by one on the dock between them. They glimmered in the last golden light. "This first coin," Mira said, placing it carefully to the left, "is for safety." She told Lena about the great storm of her youth, when the river had flooded and washed away 3 of the village's finest houses, all of them belonging to people who had spent everything they'd earned and saved nothing for the rain. "Before you ever send your money out into the world to work for you," she said, "you must keep enough at home to survive. 3 to 6 months of living in real, solid cash. Think of it as a wall around your garden. Without the wall, the deer eat everything. With the wall, your garden can bloom." Lena looked at the first coin, small, simple, but somehow reassuring in the fading light. "That coin never goes on adventures," Mira said. It just stands guard. This second coin, Mira continued, moving it to the center, is for growth. She told Lena about a young merchant she had once known who buried all his savings in a clay jar beneath his house. Every year he checked it, and every year there were the same coins. But bread cost more, cloth cost more. The seasons kept moving, and his coins quietly shrank, not in number, but in what they could buy. Saving is not the same as growing, Mira said. Paper in a jar evaporates like water in the summer sun. You must send this coin out into land or trees or companies that build things. Let it plant seeds that grow while you sleep. She told Lena about a miracle, that money, like kindness, compounds, that a small thing, given enough time and a little patience, becomes extraordinary. She drew it in the air with her finger, a tiny sprout becoming a tree, becoming a forest. How long does it take to double? Lena asked. Mira smiled. Take the number 72, divide it by whatever the coin earns each year. That's your answer in years. Lena whispered the calculation, eyes wide. It seemed almost magical. It is, said Mira. The greatest wonder of this world is not the mountains or the sea. It is time, working quietly on your behalf. And the third coin, Mira said, setting it gently on the right, is for living. She smiled, a real, warm, unhurried smile. This is the one your neighbors never understood. She told Lena that wealth was never just about accumulation. A person who hoards everything and experiences nothing has not lived. They have simply waited. The third coin existed to be spent, not carelessly, but meaningfully, on a meal shared with someone you loved, on a journey that changes how you see the sky, on a gift given to someone who needs it more than you do. This coin is for your needs, what keeps you alive and well, and for the small, beautiful wants that make being alive feel worth it. But, she added, holding up a gentle finger, only after the wall is built and the seeds are planted. She paused to listen to the river. The trouble with people, she continued, is that they spend the third coin first. They borrow against the second coin to buy things that feel like the third coin but aren't. A coat on credit, a house too large on a loan too long. These are traps shaped like rewards. How do you know the difference between a need and a want? Lena asked. Ask yourself, said Mira, whether you would still want it if no one could see you have it. They sat in silence for a while, listening to the frogs begin their evening song. The moon appeared above the tree line, round and unhurried. Grandma, Lena said finally, is that why people always say you're poor but you never seem worried? Mira laughed, a laugh that came from somewhere very deep. Worried? No, I have my wall. I have my seeds growing quietly in the earth, and I have exactly enough to live a life I chose. She picked up the 3 coins, held them for a moment, then placed them gently back in Lena's palm. The hardest thing in the world, she said, is knowing when you have enough. Most people spend their whole lives running toward a goalpost that keeps moving. They need more, and then more, and then more, until they're too old or too tired to enjoy what they already have. She closed Lena's fingers around the coins. Enough is not a small word, my love. It is the most powerful word there is. That night, Lena lay in her bed listening to the river through the open window. She thought about the 3 coins, about walls and seeds and the quiet miracle of time, about the difference between what she needed and what she merely wanted. And for the first time in a long while, She felt something she hadn't expected to feel when thinking about money. She felt calm. The river moved on in the darkness, neither rushing nor standing still, just flowing, the way good things do toward somewhere worth going. Sleep well. Your 3 coins are waiting for morning.
In a small village outside Limpopo, South Africa, there lived a boy named Sifo. His home was made of clay bricks and a corrugated iron roof that drummed loud when it rained. His school shoes had holes at the toes. His school bag was held together with a safety pin. And some nights, there was no food on the table. But inside Sifo's chest, hidden from everyone, burned something powerful. A dream. He wanted to build something, create something. Something that would lift his family out of this struggle and write a new story for his name. Every time Sifo spoke about his dream, the village laughed. The elders said, "Boy, you have nothing. No money, no connections. Stop dreaming and go look for peace jobs." Even his own friends made jokes. Their words cut deep. Not because they were right, but because Sifo was starting to believe them. One evening, Sifo sat alone at the river near the village, staring at the water, feeling small. An old man named Baba Mike, known in the village as a quiet, wise man, sat down beside him. "Why do you carry that weight on your face, young one?" he asked. Sifo said, "Baba, everyone says I cannot do anything great. They say my hands are empty, so my dreams must be small." Baba Mike reached into his bag and pulled out a small hand mirror. "Look into this," he said. Sifo looked. "What do you see?" "Myself," Sifo replied. "Look deeper," Baba Mike said quietly. "Behind the tiredness in your eyes, do you see the fire?" Sifo looked again, and this time he felt something staring back at him. Something strong, something that refused to give up. Baba Mike said, "That fire is your belief. Most people let the world blow it out. But if you protect it, if you feed it with hard work and discipline, that fire will light your path, even in the darkest nights." He paused, then added, "People will throw dust on your mirror. They will make you forget who you really are. Your job every single day is to clean that mirror with your actions, with your choices. Keep seeing your true self." Sifo held the mirror tightly, and something shifted inside him. From that day, Sifo changed his routine completely. Every morning, school. No skipping, no excuses. Every afternoon, he helped at a local spaza shop, packing shelves and serving customers. On weekends, he sat with an old man in the village who repaired phones and small electronics. He watched, he asked, he learned. Every night under a single candle, Sifo studied. His mother was sick. His father worked long days on someone else's farm and came home with too little. Sifo knew time was not a luxury. Every hour mattered. So he used them all. Slowly, something small began to grow. Sifo started fixing broken phones for neighbors, charging a small fee. Word spread. The boy is good. The boy is reliable. The boy is honest. He saved every rand with discipline. No spending on things that didn't build him. With time, he set up a small phone repair table at the taxi rank, then a proper shop in the village. Then he began selling locally branded phone accessories. His own label. From nothing, he built something. The same people who laughed at him now came asking for jobs, for advice, for partnership. His mother got proper treatment. His father finally rested. Sifo had rewritten the story. Baba Mike visited him one afternoon. He looked around the little shop. Shelves full, customers inside, Sifo's name above the door. He smiled and said, "You see, Sifo, the world tries to make poor boys think small, but those who dare to think big rewrite everything. You are proof that dreams are not measured by the money in your pocket, but by the vision in your heart. Friend, if this story lit even a small spark in you today, don't ignore it. That spark is your mirror. That spark is Sifo's fire. Now, alive in you. Your village, your background, your empty pockets, they are not your final chapter. Your next chapter begins the moment you decide to think bigger than your circumstances. Start today, not tomorrow. Today.
A man named Marcus. He is 34 years old. He lives in Copenhagen, Denmark. By every outside measure, Marcus is doing well. He has a design studio. He has clients across Scandinavia. He has a calendar so full it looks like a modern art painting. But every night, when the bells of the church chime midnight, Marcus lies in his bed and feels something he cannot name. Not sadness, not failure, something quieter than both. The hollow feeling of a man who worked 14 hours today and achieved absolutely nothing that mattered. Here is the anatomy of his days. 8 in the morning. The alarm screams. Before Marcus even clears the sleep from his eyes, his hand moves, not toward the window, not toward the coffee, toward the phone. It is a reflex, like a smoker reaching for a cigarette before they are even fully awake. In seconds, he is flooded. An angry client email, a political crisis in a country he has never visited, a sea of perfect glowing lives on Instagram, all of them silently whispering that he is somehow behind. By 8:05 in the morning, Marcus has not yet stood up. He has not yet had a single thought of his own, but he has already handed his mind over to 1,000 strangers. He spends his day reacting. A message arrives. He stops, replies. A notification. He stops, checks. A video call he wasn't prepared for. He stumbles through it. He looks up. It is 3 in the afternoon. He hasn't eaten. He hasn't done anything real. By midnight, Marcus is exhausted. Not the good exhaustion of a man who built something. The gray, hollow exhaustion of a man who spent 14 hours chasing smoke, never once putting out the actual fire. Marcus tells himself he just needs more time. He does not yet understand the truth. He has plenty of time. He is simply being robbed of it every single morning before he even opens his eyes. And the thief is not his clients, not his calendar. The thief is 6 inches long, fits in his pocket, and he picks it up willingly every single day before he has even decided to be awake. One Tuesday, a small brown package arrives at his door. It is from Thomas, his oldest friend, someone who 3 years ago quietly disappeared from the noise of Copenhagen and moved to Amsterdam to, in his own words, find his breath. Inside the package is a book, old, spine cracked, pages soft and yellow at the edges, and a handwritten note. Marcus, 3 years ago, I almost lost everything. My business, my health, my relationship, all of it, because I thought being busy meant I was winning. Then someone gave me this book. Please read it. Tonight, if you can. I think it might be the most important thing I ever send you. Thomas. Marcus puts the book on his desk and forgets about it for 4 days. Then Friday comes. He misses the deadline for the biggest contract of his year. He didn't forget it. He thought about it every day. But every day, the real work kept getting pushed aside under the weight of 40 unimportant messages and an inbox that refilled itself like a tide he could never outswim. The client calls. The voice on the phone is cold, professional, polite, and absolutely disappointed. That night, Marcus opens the book. He reads until 2 in the morning, and when he closes it, he sits in the dark for a long time. Because the book has shown him something so simple, it feels less like learning and more like remembering. Here is what the book told Marcus. Every morning, you wake up with a full charge, not of money, not of time, of mental energy, the ability to focus, to think clearly, to create something from nothing. Think of it like a battery. Every morning, that battery is at 100%, but every single thing you do throughout your day drains it. Answering an email drains it. Reading a news headline drains it. Scrolling through other people's lives drains it faster than almost anything else. Now think about Marcus. He wakes up, battery at 100%, reaches for his phone, drops to 80, reads the angry client email, drops to 65, scrolls Instagram for 12 minutes, drops to 50, and then, with half his mental energy already given away to strangers, he tries to do his most important, most demanding, most creative work. The book described it perfectly. You are trying to build a cathedral with a flickering flashlight. And then the book asked one question. What would happen if tomorrow morning, before you gave a single percentage of your battery to anyone else, you used it on yourself first? Marcus decided to wake up at 5 in the morning, not because 5 a.m. is a magic number, but because at 5 a.m. in Copenhagen, the whole city is still sleeping. No emails, no clients, no noise from anyone else's life. Just silence. And his battery, completely untouched. But Marcus knew himself. He knew that motivation is a feeling, and feelings disappear the moment a warm bed makes its argument at 5 in the morning. What lasts is a system. So the night before, he built one. Running shoes placed directly in front of his bedroom door, journal open on the desk, phone left in the kitchen, far away, so he would have to physically walk across cold floors to silence the alarm. Then he went to bed at 10 p.m. Because the book was clear, you cannot wake up early if you go to bed late. Sleep is the foundation. Without 7 to 8 hours, nothing else works. 5 a.m. The alarm fills the apartment. The room is dark. The Copenhagen wind speaks through the window frame. Every cell in his body argues for the duvet. He thinks about the phone call from Aarhus, the cold voice, the word disappointed. He sits up. His feet touch the floor. His feet find the shoes. He doesn't think. He doesn't wait to feel ready. He just puts them on and steps out into the dark. The book called it the holy hour. 1 hour, 3 equal parts, 20 minutes each. First, he runs along the Nyhavn Canal. Dark, quiet, beautiful in a way tourists never see. The only sound, his soles on wet cobblestones. Slap, slap, slap. Within minutes, something shifts. The permanent fog behind his eyes, the anxiety, the comparison, the noise, goes quiet. Like a snow globe after all the snow has finally settled. His brain, flooded with natural mood and focus chemicals, is sharper than it has been in years. Second, he writes, 3 pages, longhand, no rules, no editing, just everything in his head, poured onto the page. Fears, ideas, frustrations, half-formed dreams. By the 3rd page, something loosens in his chest, something he had been carrying so long. He forgot it wasn't supposed to be there. The mind, like muddy water left completely still, finally begins to clear. Third, he reads, Not news, not his phone. A real book. 20 minutes. And here is why that matters. 20 minutes of reading every morning adds up to 12 to 15 books a year. Over 5 years, that is 60 books more than most people around you will ever read. Not because they are lazy, because they gave those 20 minutes to their phones instead. Small deposits, every day, extraordinary returns. Over time. 1 hour has passed, his phone still untouched in the kitchen drawer, and Marcus feels something he hasn't felt in years. Ready, clean, clear, present, like a runner already at the starting line, while everyone else is still looking for their shoes. Now comes the second part of his morning. He sits at his desk, puts on headphones, closes every tab except one, the Aarhus project, the one he lost, sets a timer, 90 minutes, and enters what the book called The Cave. No messages, no switching tabs, no phone, just him and the work, for 90 minutes of complete, undivided focus. When the timer sounds, he sits back. He looks at what he has made and feels something he hasn't felt about his work in a very long time. Pride. In 90 minutes of real, protected focus, he produced more meaningful, more original work than he typically produces in 3 full days of his old distracted life. He didn't work harder, he worked deeper, and the difference is everything. Weeks later, Marcus has coffee with his colleague Elena. She is smart, sharp, and today, completely exhausted. Marcus, she says, I tried the 5 a.m. thing last year. 2 weeks in, I got sick. My doctor said I was forcing my body against its own biology. Marcus nods. She was right, he tells her, because here is something most productivity videos will never tell you. Not everyone is built the same way. Science has shown that every human being has a chronotype, a genetically determined preference for when their body wants to sleep and wake. Some people are natural early birds, sharp and ready at 6 a.m. Some are genuine night owls, foggy in the morning but powerful and creative at 10 p.m. Forcing the wrong schedule on your biology doesn't create success. It creates what researchers call social jet lag, a daily war between your internal clock and your external schedule. And over time, the cost is real. Poor focus, low mood, weakened health. The point was never 5 a.m., Marcus tells her. The point is this. Find the hours when your brain is naturally at its best, and protect those hours completely. Use them for your most important work before anything else gets to steal them. For me, it's early morning, he says. For you, maybe it's 10 at night when everything is quiet. The time doesn't matter. What matters is that you stop giving your best hours away. Marcus committed to 90 days, not 7, not 30, 90. Because real habits, the kind that stop feeling like effort and start feeling like identity, take honest, messy, imperfect time. The first 2 weeks, every morning was a fight he nearly lost. By week 6, the fight got shorter. By week 10, he woke up before the alarm. Not because he forced it, because his mornings now meant something. His run, his journal, his book, his cave. Purpose, it turns out, is the most powerful alarm clock ever invented. On day 90, Marcus opens an email from the Aarhus firm, the client whose disappointed voice he still remembered. It reads, Marcus, we shared your recent work with partner firms in Oslo and Stockholm. All 3 used the same word independently. Extraordinary. We want to talk about a Scandinavia-wide project. We think you might be at the beginning of something important. Marcus reads it once, then closes the laptop, doesn't post it, doesn't call anyone. He just walks to the window, and watches Copenhagen wake up beneath him. The first tram rattles past. A bakery door opens somewhere below, releasing a brief, warm cloud of bread and light into the February cold. And Marcus feels something so quiet, so completely unlike everything he used to chase. He almost doesn't recognize it. He feels ahead, not better than anyone, not finished, just ahead of the day. For the first time in his adult life, the day had not caught him running. He was already here, waiting for it. The weaver of Chandanpur. In the village of Chandanpur, where the Narmada bends like a sleeping serpent and the mango groves hum with green parrots, there lived a girl named Mira. Her fingers were stained with turmeric, her sari the dusty pink of a faded marigold. Every year at Diwali, she watched the silk merchants arrive from Varanasi, their fabrics blazing like captured sunsets, and she would whisper the same wish to the little diyas floating on the river. One day, I will weave cloth beautiful enough for a queen. But the years moved like the Narmada herself, slowly, indifferently, and Mira remained where she had always been, grinding spices in her mother's kitchen and carrying water from the well. Her loom sat cold and dusty in the corner of the hut, a forgotten promise. One autumn, a wandering weaver named Savitribai arrived in the village. It was said she had once woven a sari for the Maharani of Gwalior, a garment so fine it felt like touching a cloud. Savitribai walked with a twisted tamarind staff, but her eyes were as sharp as a hawk's. The village women flocked to her, but Mira stood at the edge of the crowd. Finally, she stepped forward. "I want to weave like you," she said. "Tell me the secret to making something beautiful." Savitribai looked at her for a long time. "What did you do this morning?" Mira blinked, confused. "I ground the masala. I swept the courtyard." "And yesterday morning?" "The same." "And the morning before that?" Mira fell silent. The old woman nodded slowly. "You do not want to weave," she said, her voice like shifting gravel. "You want to have woven. There is a great difference." She tapped her staff. "Come to me at sunrise, not to make a masterpiece, just to sit." The next morning, the sky was the color of a ripe persimmon when Mira arrived. She expected to learn complex patterns or the secrets of the Varanasi masters. Instead, Savitribai handed her a single wooden shuttle and pointed to a child's loom, a tiny frame no bigger than a winnowing basket. "Make 10 passes," the old woman said. "That is all. Then go home." Mira stared at her. "Only 10? That will take 2 minutes." "Then it will be a very easy 2 minutes," Savitribai replied. Mira completed the task, feeling faintly ridiculous, but she returned the next day, and the next. By the 7th morning, something strange happened. Mira woke before the roosters. For a moment, she didn't know why, but then she felt a strange itch in her palms. Her hands were restless. They wanted the shuttle. She realized then that the 10 passes weren't meant to finish a cloth. They were meant to start a hunger. As the monsoon arrived, drumming on the tin roofs and filling the air with the scent of wet earth, Mira's work grew. 10 passes became 20. An hour became a morning. But as she looked at her work, rough cotton, uneven borders, and tangled threads, despair crept in. "I am working every day," she cried to Savitribai, "but it is ugly. I am getting nowhere." Savitribai led her into the rain and pointed to a bamboo shoot near the wall. "This plant spends 4 years underground, sending roots in every direction. For 4 years, you see nothing. Then, in the 5th year, it grows 80 feet in 6 weeks." She pressed Mira's hand. You are not failing, child. You are underground. You are building the roots that can support a queen's silk. One afternoon, Savitribai visited Mira's home. Without a word, she began moving furniture. She dragged the heavy loom out from behind the grain sacks and placed it in the center of the room, directly under the window, where the morning light fell in a golden rectangle. "It is in the way," Mira's mother protested. "Exactly," Savitribai smiled. "Now, she cannot walk to the kitchen without touching the wood. She cannot fetch water without seeing the thread." Savitribai then took Mira's favorite books of poetry and placed them in a high cupboard, out of sight. "Willpower is a shallow well," the old woman whispered. "Do not waste it fighting yourself. Arrange your world so the right thing is the easiest thing to do." A year passed. A merchant from Indore, a man of legendary taste, happened through Chandanpur. He stopped dead in his tracks when he saw a panel of saffron cotton hanging to dry in Mira's courtyard. It featured a pattern of interlocking diamonds, a design no one had taught her. He bought it for more silver than Mira's family saw in a year. That evening, the villagers gathered under the banyan tree. "How did you do it?" they asked. "How did you become a master so quickly?" Mira looked at her calloused hands. "I stopped trying to be a master," she said quietly. "I just tried to be a person who didn't miss a morning. Each day I sat at the loom was a vote I cast for myself. I didn't notice the change any more than I noticed the river moving. But one day I woke up and realized the girl who whispered wishes to the river was gone. In her place, there was only a weaver." Epilogue. 3 Diwalis later, the Narmada was again scattered with floating diyas. But Mira did not stand on the bank. She was in her hut, working on a sari of deep river blue for the district collector's wife. There was no grand victory, no single moment of magic. There was only the loom in the light, the rhythm of the shuttle, and the thousands of small mornings that had turned a dream into a life. The lesson of the loom. We do not rise to the height of our dreams. We fall to the level of our systems. Tomorrow morning, whatever your loom may be, sit at it.